Imagine waking up every day without the dread of going to a job that you hate. Imagine having the freedom to do what you want with all of your time. Imagine not having a boss harping on you day in and day out. Imagine doing the things that you love. This is the power of financial freedom. Today, we're going to talk about some smart investing things that you can do even if you think you're broke. First off, let's define investing. In simple terms, it's making your money work for you. And I know you may think you're broke, but you may have a spare 50 cents. And that's all you need to get started. Believe it or not, you can get started with almost nothing. The key is to start doing something. So putting your money to work is putting it in something that's going to make you more money. So you would think maybe a savings account would be a good place, but savings accounts don't pay enough money to really make you anything. So typically savings accounts are a terrible idea to think of for investing. There are different types of things that I would consider investing, which would be stocks, you've heard about those, bonds, real estate. Those are some of the most common and best places to put your money to make money for you. Now, let's explain each one of these real quick. A stock, that is you buying a percentage of a company. So if I buy a stock, I'm buying a small little tiny piece of a company. And if that company grows in value, my stock grows in value and then I can sell it for more money than I bought it for. Then we have bonds. Bonds are essentially loans to somebody. Quite often, the government issues bonds, and then you pay for a bond. You give money to a bond, and then that bond has an interest rate. So the government would then use that money from that bond to do whatever project they were working on, and then they pay that back over time. So essentially, you're making interest. I personally don't really like bonds. Next is real estate. Real estate historically has been very good in almost every marketplace. What you do need to be careful of is really inflated real estate. So sometimes the real estate market goes really high, and that may be a time to consider waiting until it comes back down. Now, often we think we need a ton of money to get into real estate, but you really don't. And I'm a big fan of buying a little house or a little condo as your first investment. You don't need to go big. There's a couple different people out there who will tell you how to get invested in real estate without any money. Those may not be a good idea either. You may want to go more the traditional mortgage type route or save up where you can buy a small piece of real estate. So these are just some of the ideas that we'll talk about. There's a few more coming up. So let's get started into it. The different types of approaches you could take is passive investing, which would be like investing in what's called an index fund or a mutual fund or an ETF. What these are is you put your money into a fund, which can be traded on like the stock market, very similar to stock anyway, using a stock broker. All right, so you put your money in here, and then there's a guy or girl. There's a person, there we go, we'll use that word. There's a person managing this fund, and they're buying and selling stocks or bonds or real estate or things like that. And then as the value of that fund grows, the value of your share of it grows, and then you can sell out of it. So you would trade this much like you would trade a stock. An ETF is more like a stock where it trades all day long. And a mutual fund, just like that, but it only trades once a day. So you can put in your sell for it or your buy for it, but it waits till the day closes and the value's been decided, and then the trade actually happens. I know this may all sound confusing to you, but there's a lot of great resources to learn about these, so don't get bogged down in that. The reason this is very passive is if you pick yourself a good fund, do some homework, you don't really have to monitor it too closely. Never take your eyes off of it though. Keep your eyes on it, but you don't have to worry as much and you don't have to be very active with it. So this is just passive growth where you put your money in and just let it grow over time. Yes, it will have some ups and downs, and don't get worried on the down because the up will come. So just be aware if it's going down too much, too fast, or you think it's a bad time for it, then you would sell out and buy something else. But really, you don't have to do a whole lot with a fund. Then there's stocks. Stocks are going to require a little bit more homework because they're more volatile than a fund would be. So you will want to make sure that you're buying a stock that has good income potential, good growth potential, so that the money that you put into that stock will grow. The value of it will get bigger. The company will continue to increase in value. And then real estate is also quite active. You'll need to find tenants, you'll need to clean out the property, you'll need to collect rent, you may need to file eviction notices, things like that. So there's two ways to go about your investments, whether you want very passive or you're going to be a little bit more hands-on. Typically when you're more hands-on, you can work that money a little harder and get a little bit better of a return. But mutual funds and ETFs and those types of investments are also fantastic and can get you very high returns, especially if you're not familiar with how to do these other forms of investing. You want to be careful. Don't just gamble your money away. That's silly and you're going to lose. So don't do that. Make sure you're understanding what you're doing and you're picking the right approach for your knowledge. Now, to get started with investing, you need to first set financial goals and you need to understand your finances. So I have X amount of dollars and I want to do something. I want to retire by age 50. I want to buy a house. I want to fund my kids' education. You need to know what that goal is and what the dollar amount looks like today, as far as you best understand it, what that dollar amount looks like. The reason you need to know this is because now you can start to put the pieces together to reach that number. All right, now, like I said, broke people can invest. You may only have 50 cents. All right, so that's not a lot. You put that 50 cents somewhere in the bank, probably for right now. And then you get another 50 cents and another 50 cents. Most investment accounts will let you start with only $100. So work your way up to $100. Once you have that $100, open an investment account. There are tons of organizations that you can use. There's investment accounts that you can open that are apps on your phone only. There's investment accounts that you can open with an active stock broker or financial person that you talk to. And then there's more passive ones. And then there's ones that are both apps and online. There are full service stock companies. There's just so many options. What I do is my brokerage accounts are held by one of the long-standing stock brokerage companies. So there's a handful of those out there. You can choose to put your money in a brokerage account with one of them, and then from there you would choose what stocks you buy. So first step is take your 50 cents and put it in a savings account and keep adding to that until you have $100. Then take that $100 and pick a place that you're going to use for your brokerage account if this is the direction you're headed. If you're doing real estate, continue to save up until you have enough to do real estate. But I would even advise you have a brokerage account as well and have both going, because multiple income streams is really the way to go. It helps keep some safety and it helps keep income coming from multiple directions. All right. The next step is, we said you had to have a goal of where you were trying to go. You need to create a budget. And I talk about this all the time. You need a budget and you need to stick to that budget. Here's why. Now with a budget, you have this roadmap of where you're trying to go. You'll need to set aside a certain amount of money to put in your brokerage account on a regular basis to help put more money into investments so that that money can continue to grow without you needing to work for all of that money. So create a budget, stick to your budget, and take all that extra money and put it in your brokerage account and invest it wisely. There are a lot of books and resources available to learn all of this. I suggest you go to the library, check out a book for free, and read through it. Some basics about investing, some basics about real estate, and learn what you can, especially while you're building up that first $100. Keep learning. Read books by a few different people because they will have different perspectives. If the book is all about how you can get rich really quick, stay away. Stay away because it's probably really risky, probably won't work, and you will probably lose. If you're not understanding what the book is saying, find one that offers the information in simpler terms so that you can understand it. because you don't want to invest in something you don't understand. When you don't understand it, you don't understand what's going on, and you don't understand how you lost all your money. When you do understand it, you can understand what's happening and make sure you're making better decisions to increase your chances of making good money. Now, your mindset for investing needs to be long-term. If you're buying and selling daily, that's called day trading. That's not good. Or constantly throughout the day, don't do that. You'll probably lose. Time is your friend here. The more you put in and have in investments, the better you're going to do at growing that pot of money that you have. So time is your friend. Have the long-term goal. A little dip today, don't worry. Tomorrow it comes back up. So just be careful where it doesn't keep sliding. If it does, sell it. And then buy something else with the remaining money and let that money grow. It's okay. Long-term. We're thinking long-term, not day by day, long-term. Now, when you're investing your money into your account, you may find that you've been putting it all into one stock. This is a good time to do what's called a rebalance. If all of your money is in one place, it's unbalanced. It's heavy in one thing, and that puts your money at risk. You may want to split it up into a couple different stocks or a couple different things so that you're balanced out. And if one starts to fail, the others will carry the load so you don't lose it all. So rebalancing is taking what's in your portfolio, this is now called a portfolio, and making sure you're adjusted where you've got a little bit of evenness and a little bit of steadiness through it, not everything in one. Or maybe you have 90% of your money in one stock and 10% in everything else. It's time to balance that out a little bit better so it's not all in one. Investing is going to be your fastest way to make money and not really work making that money. So it's a fun thing because you make your money the fastest from investing, but also you're not really doing the physical work of making that money. You're just choosing good companies who will grow, which will give you more money in return for what you've invested in them. So I really love investments because of that magic of it's like free money. Now I want to be careful with that word free money because it's not free money, but it is money that I'm making for not doing really anything. So I love that approach. But when you do invest, your money is at risk of being lost because those companies could lose value or go out of business, in which case you lose the money you had invested in that. That's also why you want a balanced portfolio. If one loses or goes out of business, you still have the others. You didn't lose everything. So if you've never invested before or you're afraid of it, get a few good books, start reading up on it, because this is a valuable way for you to make future money without doing much work. I know I've kind of said that a couple times, but it's so important because I hear so many people talk about they're afraid to invest, they might lose it. Most people don't lose everything they invest, especially when they invest over time. So it's typically low risk, especially if you're being smart with it and doing your homework. Get a few good books, read those, and it's going to be okay. A bunch of other people think that they can't invest if they don't have a lot of money, and it's only for rich people. It's not only for rich people. Like I said, most brokerage accounts you can open for just $100, maybe even less with some of these more app-based ones. I'm not a huge fan of the app-only companies, but if that's the way you get started, that's the way you get started. I'm not really bashing any of them. I just like the brokerage firm that I've been with for a very long time. So again, with just $100, you can really get investing. You can make that $100 become $200 and then $400 and then $800. This is the power of that. Over time, it'll build and build and build. And it's a snowball. The bigger it gets, the faster it gets bigger. So your best thing to do is get started now, because that is the best time to invest. You know, there's the age-old theory of when is the best time to start? Yesterday. The second best time? Today. If you keep putting it off, you're going to keep losing out on that ability for you to grow that snowball, because the snowball is only going to start when you start. So if you put your snowball together today, start investing today, your snowball can start to grow today. At first, it's going to feel slow, very little growth, but over time, you're going to all of a sudden see that your snowball is picking up pace and getting large fast. I would love to hear from you on what you're going to do with your money. Are you going to invest? Are you investing? go ahead and comment down below. I love hearing what you have to say. And also, do me a favor, subscribe to this channel so that you get more helpful tips to help you grow your financial well-being. I know you can do this. I believe in you.